and thank you very much for joining us today. We will be talking about faculty-led recruitment strategies and introducing a new marketing toolkit. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first, just want to welcome you formally and let you know who will be speaking today. So I myself, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Crystal Jones, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Senior Director of Workforce Partnerships at the Ohio Association of Community Colleges. Joining me today is my colleague, Dr. Gerard Melisson from the National Workforce Consultant. And you'll see all that alphabet soup at the end. Yes, he's done a lot. He's got a lot to contribute, and we hope to learn from him today and beyond. My colleague, Maria Feith, managing partner for Feith Consulting. And if you've worked with our OSCN work, she is no stranger to you, her and her husband. And then finally, we have our colleague, Dr. Rick Alamadou, team consultant and director for Skills Commons. So yeah. All right, so you know who we are. We want to know who you are. So if you could take the time right now just to please share your college and title in the chat. Thank you, Jonathan, for being one of those earlier adopters and kind of jumping in and putting an example out there for everyone. But yeah, if you could take your time and just share college and title in the chat, just so we know who you are and your colleagues know who's representing us today through the state. All right, as you're doing that, we are talking about marketing. And I'll be honest, in my 10 year, I've had the pleasure of serving as adjunct, full-time faculty, dean, and administrator. And I can tell you throughout all those positions, I've had different feelings about marketing. Okay. And honestly, as an executive at a college, I actually ran the marketing department. So yeah, all of those things fed into it. So as you're putting your name, your department, I mean, your title in the chat, also think about there is a emoticon selection on there. I'd like you to choose an emoji that best represents marketing at your college and add it also into the chat.
Where are the emojis?
So if you look down the chat, you'll see the T for text, and next to that, you'll see like a little smiley face. Yeah, Jacob found it. And you can put in your emoji that best
Oh,
represents, yeah, how you feel about marketing at your college. All right, Jacob is
uh,
laughing. I've been in that position before, Jacob, especially when I was, oh yeah, definitely. Okay, Gina, I see you guys. Oh yes, okay. The crying one definitely represents it. Okay, we like the fun stuff, Courtney. All right. Yes. Yes. I've been trying to figure out some things myself in all those different roles, and even as the person who supported marketing. Okay. We have a strong, all right, keep that coming. So we wanted to do something a little different, but kind of get you started in that direction. So let's continue on. So next, we'd like to ask you a question now about your marketing, and you can look at here are the poll questions. So from the list, please select what best describes enrollment challenges at your college considering marketing. So focus on marketing. So first one is around traditional student decline. Has there been a shift in marketing to adult students? Complexities in enrollment and onboarding experiences, affordability versus perception, resource constraints. And I'm pretty sure you probably would say that there's more, or maybe even all of these apply. But if you can select one and then submit your answer, we greatly appreciate it. And will we be able to see the results?
We will.
Okay.
Once we're done, I will publish the results.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that, Maria. All right. So as you're doing that, you see that those responses were strategically selected because based on some of our recent data, these are nationwide. These are some of the top four challenges that we are seeing when it comes to enrollment and marketing. So it looks like, okay, traditional student decline is leading the race, complexities in enrollment and onboarding, and looks like resource constraints are tied. Okay, perception. No one selected that. Very interesting. All right. Thank you for that. So the reason why we brought this up is because as you see, we are all having these different kinds of challenges. And even if you're not in marketing, it seems like you are aware of this. If you are not, these are some of the current challenges your marketing department and those who work in this space are seeing on the regular. And it is time for us to kind of be on the same page to kind of see how we can work together to do so. So if we can go to the next slide, I'd also like to share with you some other information. You may have seen this. This is actually recent information that was published from Jobs Ohio, our economic development arm in Ohio, to kind of talk about our projected demand by occupation. And this is basically through 2032. So as you see, there are over 540,000 occupations that are expected here in the state projected. And these are some of the top areas. This is one of the reasons why you see the big push towards technicians, because 43% of these projected jobs, and this is not even considering some of the ones we have open now, but engineers, operators, IT, AI, and then the other actually has a variety of different things, but we wanted to kind of set the stage. So we've got these challenges on our campuses with perception and different things in the marketing of the word getting out and us really trying to wrap around our prospective students and sometimes even retaining our current students. But we've also got this whole external forces and demands that are out of our control, but help guide us in that direction. So we wanted to kind of set the stage there. So we've got all this project demand, we've got these challenges internally and externally in our areas when it comes to marketing. What are some of the solutions? Because as we know, marketing can't do it alone. Next slide, please. So that's why we wanted to talk about faculty-led recruitment. And if you look at the definition here, it's not just faculty. We're talking about our other academic partners as well. So not program chairs, deans, adjuncts. We all play a really key role here. So this is what we're lifting up today. So when you hear us say faculty, we're not just talking about the actual faculty role, but those academic professions in that academic space, including faculty. So we're talking about not just teaching in the classroom, but attracting students into these programs, into your classes, engaging them, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. And then hopefully helping promote them into enrolling as prospective students or current students. Next slide, please. All right, so now we've defined what we're talking about when we say faculty. We'd like to also ask you, as faculty or an academic professional, where are your and your department's current recruitment efforts strongest? And where are your current challenges? So this is open-ended. So if you could respond there just to kind of gauge us because, we want to engage you in this conversation and then also have some stuff to share with you later based on what you said. And it'll help gear us in the future for more webinars to be really intentional on the things that you've lifted up. So from your academic professional role, what is your current recruitment efforts and where are they strong and where are the challenges? This is definitely looking for responses, but would like you to continue to think about this too as you're, in your day to day and where, from your perspective, where you see these strengths and these challenges. All right. Okay. Well, let's keep going. And I believe those will be shared later, Maria, or are we?
Yeah, we'll give them a minute and then I'll share them
I apologize. Thank you.
before you're done. Yeah.
This is an added benefit as well because, A lot of our marketing professionals are truly that, but they're not educators all the time. So, our perspectives as well is very valuable in this sense. So, if we're not having those cross-department conversations, there's an opportunity to do so. I know in my past role, one of the things I was very proud of and was that we created liaisons. So they were marketing liaisons from every department that met with our marketing department to make sure that from their perspectives, we were considering what they were seeing where our strengths were, there were challenges, where there were opportunities. So, if you're not doing this on your campus, it may actually be a added benefit to start having those cross-department conversations.
And I will end the poll in about 30 seconds. Looks like we have about 11 people that have participated in the Q&A.
Appreciate that. And then those that have not, continue to think about this. And if there's something you are dying to share, please don't hesitate to email us.
Mhm. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share the results.
Thank you. So it looks like we've got a really good response there as far as who answered.
See if I can open up the
Okay.
question. Are you seeing the answers?
No, I just see the percentage of.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll have to send those later.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I appreciate those that participated, and we'll send that out for further discussion and consideration. All right, so the whole point in really doing this is I wanted to kind of set the stage and really kind of define how we're looking at faculty-led recruitment, but now why? So if you could go to the next slide, please. So why is this important now? We've had these gaps, but as you see, it's heightened. We have more need in our industry. We have a community of prospective students that are really intentional. And if I'm being very forthcoming, coming, they are also questioning the value of education. So talking to you, working with you as academic professionals don't I mean you're allowed to provide a lot more information, so credibility, not just awareness, because a lot of our marketing is going to just be create awareness of the opportunities. You reduce students being lost in the funnel, especially if you know about some of those challenges that are going on at the onset and in that enrollment process. It strengthens, like I was mentioning, the value proposition directly aligns recruitment to workforce strategies because you are frontline when it comes to that, because you're working with our industry partners. It helps undecided students choose a pathway when they could talk to somebody that's actually working in this space and teaching the courses. And there's so many more benefits that I couldn't even list it on this slide. But it's just a value add, and it's a different conversation that our students need, especially as we start to connect with our adult students. You know, so faculty-led recruitment also empowers faculty, to increase interest in their classes and programs, and also promotes collaboration with marketing and admissions, because they can only tell the stories that you are creating and a part of. So in order for them to do that accurately, they need to communicate with you on a regular cadence and have you a part of the process. So with that, let's learn more about the marketing toolkit and some other strategies that could assist you in this process. So I will turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Melisson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. It's been great to be working with you and Maria and the team. And just raise a hand, just do a reaction. How many of y'all have seen the movie Forrest Gump? Okay, quite a few, quite a few. Well, good, good. So I'm only throwing in some Forrest Gump here because actually, when I went through my preview when I was in Houston yesterday with Maria and Dr. Jones, you will not get the Bubba Gump um, stories of me from workforce development. 25-year history of doing this. I have a lot to say, and you have been spared quite a bit for how much I want to say. But the key thing with and I'm in Louisiana, so it further adds to the story about me and workforce development. So I've been doing this a while, but the most important thing, 25 years in doing this, and always the biggest asset has been faculty, and faculty has been requested to do a lot with a little. And so I'm sure when you hear faculty-led recruiting strategies, if you are faculty, you say, hey, this is another unfunded mandate. Or as administrator, it's like, listen, I have great faculty, but I don't know if I want to run them loose with engaging with media without the PR department. So, but we're talking about is coordinated efforts. But the lens that faculty adds, one, there are eyes and ears what's happening in the classroom. And two, there also are eyes and ears what's happening with their industry sectors that we work closely with. They're frontline on this. I had the very fortunate opportunity of building an adjunct team from 10 to over 50. Sometimes we had about 60 within our department. And that was a mid-sized community college here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for 10 years. But so this faculty toolkit is to help just give you some tips and ideas of how we can engage that valuable assets, the eyes and ears of faculty in addressing our message, but also getting the stories from the students that they work with on a daily basis into our outreach and marketing materials. Next slide. So just like in Forrest Gump, life is a box of chocolates. And if you don't know what chocolates you have in the box, it's hard to see how to make the mix correctly. So we're going to talk a lot about understanding and mining the institutional data. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on this, but there's in our document, it's a document called Identify Potential Program Candidates. And what that just talks about is just look at the data and be open with it. I like to say we're building magnets. We kind of want to build magnets so we could pull needles out of haystacks. And because not every student is the right fit for the right program. So it's how do you recruit the right student for the right program? And so this understanding your institutional data. Not so much for race and DEI stuff, but maybe zip codes, maybe income, maybe career changers and so forth. That can help refine the recruiting strategy and also identify trends and gaps. Next slide. A wealth of of students that we have is we could think very creatively, and that's understanding the non-completers. Those are the students that I think this fall through the wayside. I think in many cases, we always have that, especially full-time students. They may start, they may not enroll in the fall, may not enroll in the spring, start in the fall, don't enroll in the spring, or maybe they finish a year, but we lose them through the summer and don't come back in the fall. Understand the non-completers. Those are students that actually touched your campus, enrolled in your campus, so they have some familiarity, but maybe it was the wrong program, design, or time. And that's where your other departments or your workforce development units or your apprenticeship programs could be a wealth of a pool of individuals that you can engage with. Market to the mid-career changer profile and also kind of broaden the audience of base of non-completers and mid-career changers. Also think about different things. You may have a barbering school. Barbers in my past have been great welders. Healthcare to manufacturing. You may have people who worked in the healthcare sector, maybe got burnt out and maybe seen better opportunities in the manufacturing sector or vice versa. There's familiar working with shift schedules, working on their feet, safety protocols, very similarity, but they may need just a switch in credentials. You have digital artists that were gamers, but maybe the gaming segment has dried up with AI, but there's also been a wealth of things created with digital twins, similar skill sets that you could be applied, sculptures to make metal fabricators. And this is really, this is worth the price for admissions. But business majors from your four-year universities in your area, a wealth, even undergrad or MBAs, but for some reason I haven't had a very hard time gaining traction in the sector. I almost built a third of our model on this particular group because they were LSU grads in business school, but they wanted to work petrochemical, but they didn't have a way in, very competitive. Well, if they became a licensed electrician, metal fabricator, did planning and scheduling. With that 4 year or even MBA, now with the industry-based credential, they have become highly sought after and very valuable because now they understand the thinking and the language. Now with the business acumen, be very versatile in manufacturing, industrial, and commercialization sectors. And that became a wealth of a pipeline for our unit in the past. But just think creatively of different pools that could really use your training and credentials that you provide in your community. Next section, slide. One thing that is easy to do as educators, we can, you look at a lot of our websites, a lot of websites been cleaned up. It looks like the Library of Congress. Even sometimes our marketing materials can get too overwhelming because we want to put every qualifier, every little piece of information, every elements of the program design on a flyer, and it just gets lost and very intimidating. And so when you do this, it's just always, this less is more in many aspects. Learn and earn instead of apprenticeships. A lot of people don't know apprenticeships unless they're in the business. Free to low cost, just like mentioned before, some of the challenges. People like to know, hey, how much is it going to cost me? So and there may be, certain zip codes, certain income eligibilities, all that other stuff. Don't put that in there. Just have them call you, have them follow up. You can deal with that. And there's simple language like new diesel tech. People think diesel or anything like that. Well, the diesel engine's going away. Well, that's the big thing. No, it's just new technology, maybe more hybrid systems and stuff like that. But just add new diesel tech. And most importantly, especially this goes into skill craft areas of manufacturing or automotive or anything like that, or even healthcare. Use your industry business logos. First, get permission from whoever you need to be and make sure you use the right style of logo. But that says everything. We did heavy equipment operator training. I didn't, I put heavy equipment there, but when I put Caterpillar heavy equipment training operator, that automatically gave the branding of say, oh, this is high quality because I know Caterpillar. And then if you're using Caterpillar equipment, I see that on the roads. That just says a lot without saying a lot. So get permission, but use logos. Feel free to use logo. Also, it kind of helps reinforce your partnerships with the industry at the same time. Next slide. The key thing with all of this, especially, Ohio is not new to manufacturing. Sometimes just some dealing with the elephant in the room. In many communities, people were the last hired, first fired scenarios, ebbs and flows of manufacturing and so forth. Engage with those, and also this goes to the community college. We do a lot of things, but we can't do everything well. But this is where partnerships come very key, where you want to partner with strong community-based organizations that have a trusting relationship and that social capital in their community. It's a trusted broker. Engage with them, educate them about the changes of either technology, safety standards, hiring practices, and so forth, and just bring them in. I'm sure many of you are doing this, but it's not a thing you just want to overlook. Faith groups, partnering with ecumenical, all different types of faiths are very good. And then also, we can't forget engaging veteran services in organizations. So wealth of individuals that we have. Listen, veteran itself, if you did a career at 18, at 38, you're already retiring and you're looking to pivot for a new career. Well, you all play a very unique opportunity to help them repivot in the civilian world and leverage those partnerships. You can see there's in the toolkits, page 14, that a little more information regarding that. Next slide. Just another thing, just local community and festivals. Listen, I'm also a big fan. I'm still a big fan. Going to car shows, having a booth set up, especially in the manufacturing role. There's even if a guy's retired from industry or just working at the car, well, you have a machine shop and you can sign them up with, the lathe, mill, machine, or 3D printing, just for parts for their cars. But also they may have a son, grandchild, a nephew at that car show that may actually want to go there for a career change. So leverage that, rodeos, Somebody mentioned car racing. Circle car racing is very big. Dirt track, oval racing is big in Ohio. Um, get out there, but also more importantly, when I say get out there, have the faculty go out there because those are the people. They're kind of like your ambassadors too. They can see them, talk about the class, talk about their experience, and then also budget for them to spend a little time out in the community. But so those are great events. STEM for everyone days are good. And then if you're using when the labor market's really tight, doing expungement clinics and participating in that and talking about careers are great ways to kind of open the doors, especially for those who don't have reentry programs in place yet with local, federal, state, or local jails within your communities. Next slide. This is just in the toolkit. You'll see you can go to this YouTube link here. This is kind of a case study for action. It's actually a project that was close dear to my heart. I actually managed it for 10 years, uh, called the North Baton Rouge Industrial Training Initiative. It's kind of a location and place in Baton Rouge where there's a community that was bottom of the good list and top of the bad list type scenarios. A lot of myths in the community regarding, people on drugs and all crime, but really you go into those communities, really like there's a lot of hardworking people in there, but they just didn't know how to get a pathway into ExxonMobil. So this initiative was kind of birthed out of that. But this is just kind of a symbol, representation of some of the branding that we did. Obviously, you see ExxonMobil is very prominent, free training and so forth. But when we do the open house, we say free training, but we also say you got to pay with your time and you got to take the program seriously. And then we need to put all the qualifiers that you have to pass the drug test. We do a background check, not to exclude you, but understanding what things we need to do with TWIC appeals and so forth. But obviously, and then a whole bunch of other stuff that they had to do for this free training. Didn't want to scare the community by putting all that stuff in the flyer. We want them to come in and we kind of coach them and encourage them and support them and understand there's a high bar to this program. It's not a social program like many some may perceive, and you all do you all run high quality programs with high expectations, but just be very clear to those to them in person, but not on the flyer. And then the other stuff is just kind of common sense. Successful job placement is key. Supportive service is key. And then and make sure you're training for the right demand for the right sectors. But many of those are basic things that I know you're probably already doing very well. And then next slide. So let's talk about a little bit of the next steps because we put a little bit out there. But I think what we'd like for you to do is not just receive this information, but actually kind of help us get feedback and build a team. Kind of form a committee of instructors, internal staff, external partners, and maybe a student representative to build a energy awareness campaign. And this could help at least kind of maybe currently monitor enrollment, look at ad campaign analytics, and adjust tactics. And more of this will come clearer. Let me go into the next slide. And some of this, you may have a program on the books that you're trying to launch for fall. Obviously, summertime is here, so it's kind of a little late to do that. But maybe to form the committee now to look at, hey, what new programs are we're putting out in the fall, or what new demand for a program that we're putting out. Well, let's work as a team, to pitch success stories, find previous graduates who went through the program and out working. Faculty is key on that because they know the grads. They actually probably help them get the job with the employers. Work with them to identify those success stories. Arrange press conferences. Obviously, it's got to be with the PR department. You can't leave out your president or your chancellor. Never do anything outside their purview. And then arrange and kind of opt that up. And then supporting student op-eds. I think the voice of the student, even if you ghostwrite it a little bit with them, so they put their name on, but let them adjust it into their voice. Help them get their stories in the press, and that's another very key low barrier entry. Doesn't cost a lot of marketing dollars to do, but seeing a name of a student, maybe adjusting of the story, help them tell their story, and getting that through this news cycle before the program launches can help build momentum. And those, couple little tangible next steps that we would love for y'all just kind of think about and maybe pull together. And you may have some other ideas that you want to do or to build upon. But we that is a key goal for us moving forward is to get your feedback and let us know how things are working. I think that is go next slide. I think that's all for me. And I'm going to transition this back. Before I go, Maria, are we going to take questions now
We can
or do you want to take them at
yeah,
the end?
yeah. Let's open it up for questions here. This is
Okay.
a good time for that. Jonathan is asking, is it possible to get the slide presentation? Yes, Jonathan, we will be posting the slides to Skills Commons along with a recording of this presentation. That should happen in the next few days or so.
Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else? Feel free. Any questions that you have?
And it'd be good to know if you're doing something similar or if there's something that that I said that may be challenging that you say, hey, I don't know if that could work here at your institution because of policy or practice.
And as you continue to process this conversation and something comes up in the future, feel free to email us. I've added the email into the notes page of the last slide. My email will be on the last slide so I can vet it and send it on to where it needs to go.
But Maria, yeah, let's look maybe at the end. I
Sure.
put a lot out there, but listen, I'm so excited to we can work with you all on this. So we look forward. I hope you and build some teams. And the goal for this is to be a working document. Everything is done in Creative Commons. And so eventually, we'll add on Skills Common. Maria's going to hit into this, but this is kind of a living document. And it's not just built just for me, but there's some prior predecessors that worked with us, Maria and I, in previous programs nationwide. And we'd love to evolve this tool with your knowledge.
That's absolutely right. And the other thing I think that is so critical to just continue to reiterate is that we want this to be help grow the partnership between your marketing department and your academic and advanced manufacturing departments. The tips and tools that you'll see in the toolkit really originally for this particular purpose was for advanced manufacturing, but honestly, it can span across sectors and across disciplines. So it's not just for advanced manufacturing. I mean, you could take your math department and think about, okay, so what are those occupational pathways and how can we begin to recruit to bring people into some of those kind of avenues. So it says advanced manufacturing all over it, and we believe it's good for that, but it's good for lots of other programming too. This is a screenshot of Skills Commons. The Ohio Association of Community Colleges has its own collection within Skills Commons, as do a number of other Ohio organizations, like Lorain County and I want to say Stark State, several others who have participated in other federal grants that have uploaded content to our full collection. So this is what it looks like. I've put the link in the chat for you. Skills Commons has been around since about 2014. We were developed for the TACT, which is Trade Adjustment Assistance for community colleges training. Career and training. And that was a $1.9 billion effort for those of you who weren't involved in those days, workforce development in those days. It was a big deal. And DOL came to the executive director, Jerry Hanley, and said, we know you're doing this with another product called Merlot, which has now been around for almost 30 years. Can you do it for us for Skills Commons and make it really workforce centric? And so it began. And our our colleague, Rick Lemadou, who is here with us today, was one of the original people to help create and build that. And the project that I was running was one of the original projects to help run some of those tests. So we were some of the early uploaders, and we figured out where the glitches were and how to get them smoothed out. And since then, I've gone to work with the Skills Commons team and have done a lot of work with them over the last, what has it been now, Rick? About 12 years, I guess. So, so,
Yep.
so this is where the toolkit lives, and you can go and download a PDF of the toolkit. You may have noticed, yep, thank you, Rick, for that. I appreciate it. Each item within Skills Commons is going to have a little abstract. Each item in Skills Commons is openly licensed, which means that, as Gerard said, it's a Creative Commons license, and in this particular case, it's a CC BY, which says that anybody can use it, take it, use it, change it, use it as it is, sell it. Actually, it's legal for you to do that at some point, but you have to give attribution back to the originator. So a derivative, if you were to take it and make a derivative of it, we would ask that you would add that into the licensing. And if you have questions about that licensing, we can sure answer those questions outside of this. All you got to do is send us a note, and we'd be happy to chat with you more about that. Rick, next slide, please. So we have also taken the toolkit and refined it into 3 different options: English, Spanish, and French. We had language specialists recreate those for us, review them, make sure that they were accurate and appropriate for sharing out. And so those are all available within Skills Commons under the OACC collection. And next slide, please, Rick. Thank you. So from here, we're looking at implementation. We really want you to use this toolkit in a way that's going to be most beneficial for you. And we get that you may not be sure about what that means yet. But first of all, it is about connecting with your marketing teams and faculty and marketing talking together, thinking through whose role is it to do what in this. Some marketing teams are not going to want faculty to be posting on social media. They'll do it for you. Some have other policy and procedures in place. And so it's just to learn about what those kinds of things are. As you heard Gerard say, get a student voice involved. More than one student voice is better. They're the ones who are the target audiences, and they know what's working and what's not working, where those people are spending their time, and they can be such a wealth of information for you. So tap into the resources that you have available for you. The marketing teams help ensure that consistency takes place across the campus, which is so critical for branding and to share that message that the institution wants to have out face forward. And we're going to ask if you would be so kind as to keep notes for us about the activity and any observations, any challenges, what worked, what you think was a total bomb. That's okay for us to know too. Good for us to know. I've developed a little tracking tool for you. I'm going to show you that in a few minutes, but this is what I really want you to hear me say right now, is that this is not evaluative in nature. We're not going to look at it and say, oh, well, so-and-so hardly did anything and this other person did a lot of things. It's not about that at all. It's about what's working, what do we need to do on our end to better support you, and what should we be changing in that toolkit to make it more usable and to help increase enrollment? Because the bottom line is we're here to help support getting people into those programs so that you can do the work that you do so beautifully. Next slide, Rick. So our next steps would be to work with your marketing team, talk with your department, think more in group about recruitment and the avenues, the support systems that you have in place to help you build those pathways and the pipelines. keep notes on the tool. And the next slide will show you what that tool looks like. But keep notes. You can either download the tool or you can use it online. Either way is fine for us, but we ask that if you download it, you send it back to me so that we have the content. The next two webinars, the next one is in June, and there's a follow-up in July. We're going to ask for you to share your feedback. And many of you have already registered for those, but if you have not, the registration link is here. I've also put links to all three of the versions of the toolkit on this particular slide. And again, we'll be posting these slides, and I'll send a follow-up email for you once those are posted. Next slide, Rick. So this is the tracking tool. It's in a Google Doc file, and the first few are just some samples about what it might look like. There's a drop down for the initiative title, because we're going to use this tool for all of these various areas that we're helping to support OACC and your college with. So the marketing toolkit is the one that we're talking about today. Some of you may have been involved in the Universal Design for Learning effort, which April 9th is the next discussion around that. That's a state level framework that has been developed under the guidance of OACC for your use. And so we want to hear from you about all of these things that you may be using. And if you're not using them, tell us about that too. And again, it is not evaluative. We're not going to be looking at you as whether or not you are a dedicated professional. We already know that. You're here. You already have that position as far as we are concerned. We need help. We don't have our boots on the ground at your campus. And so we're going to need some help to know exactly what it is you need from us. Next slide, Rick. So here is the full webinar series. A number of these have taken place. Today is March the 31st, and so you can kind of see where we are in the sequence. The next one, as I mentioned, is for the UDL statewide learning framework for Ohio. On the 14th of April through the 28th, so one a week for 3 consecutive weeks, we're going to be talking about open educational resources. And this is a really good time to think about with the pros about open licensing, what it means for my content to be openly licensed. Are there different kinds of licenses that I can choose to use in order to say, okay, I want it out there, but I don't want anybody selling it, or I want it out there, but I don't want anybody changing it. There are a lot of nuances around those licenses, and we can help you pretty quickly and easily understand what those are and how to create licenses for your own content. We can help you understand how to remake and remix. And Rick Lumadou is going to lead those conversations. He's been doing this a long, long time. And I'm telling you, he makes it super easy to follow. He has created a course for better understanding OER, and he's going to share a little bit with you about that course. And it's self-paced, something that you can go through on your own in your own time and really help you increase your awareness levels and understanding. He's working closely with Ohio Link to be able to create a partnership for you that is meaningful in Ohio, and he's going to talk more about that. And I believe the Ohio Link people will be joining him. Rick, do you want to say anything else?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that's good. No, that's perfect, Maria. Yeah, though we'll be partnering together on that and co-presenting as well with Ohio Link folks. So I'm really looking forward to it. We got some really good presentations together and really great resources for you. And as Maria said, you got pros there in Ohio too that know their stuff. So
Yep.
it's a good time just to network with them and to get to know who they are and, follow up later if you need questions. And as Maria said, I'm always here as well on the support side. So we're here to help you and support you be successful. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. The last portion of this series is a data discussion. And we're going to be talking about gaps and projections. And we're also going to be talking about data storytelling. So that will come up during the summer. and we'll have more information to you at that time. Okay, let's see. One more. Let's go ahead and forward. And okay, so this is the point where I turn it back to Dr. Jones. And just on behalf of the Skills Commons FEED team, Durango Works, we just completely appreciate your being here today. We know you have lots of other things you could be doing. And we strongly, strongly encourage you to communicate with us as you go about your journey in increasing the recruitment efforts on your campus. Dr. Jones.
Thank you so very much. Really appreciate you all. Our presenters they're our partners in this work. And I hope you got out of this initial webinar what we were trying to share with you. You're not alone. These are discussions that are happening not just in the state, but across the country. Education has changed, our roles are changing. We have different groups of students we're trying to reach, and our traditional methods of doing that are not being successful. It's going to take us all. And as you know, for being a part of your campuses, that if you have that name of that campus on one of your shirts or people know you work there, they think you know everything that's going on there. So, we want to make sure that you're prepared. And as my colleagues has mentioned, this document is made with great perspective and experience in mind, but we want you to tell your story. We want to learn from what's working best in our state. We want to make this living document something that is specifically tailored to us and how we can support each other. So you'll also see that there's going to be opportunities for you to share things that are working well on your campuses, challenges, things of that nature. So you may get a call or a touch or reach out to us if you think that there's a faculty member or an academic professional on your campuses that are doing things well that you think this group could benefit from. So we're just trying to prepare us for the future as our legislators and other stakeholders are looking towards us as institutions. We are all held as responsible parties, regardless of what our role are. We are a team. So we want to make sure that you are supported in this space and others. So we're coming to you to hear from you, to help us really be intentional with other things that are coming this way. So our partners have been great in the work as far as advanced manufacturing, but that is just a tip of the iceberg of the expertise they have. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Maria's information is there. My information is probably in is in the invitation as well. So do not hesitate to reach out to any of us. We are part of your network. We want to help you. So with that, we'll give you a few minutes back unless you have some questions. But thank you for participating today. Thank you for the work you do on your individual campuses. And honestly, together we make Ohio what we are, and we are one of the leaders in the country. So let's keep that mark. Let's continue to do this work, and we're here to help you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody.